Hello, thank you for tuning into my channel. We're working on assignment 6 for the Heartbeat Bargello Quilt Along. So if you want to see how to make section 3, please stay tuned. So I'm very excited about where we are in the process right now. Here on the table is sections 1 and 2. This was assignments 4 and 5 for the quilt along. I have all three sections, both sections sewn all the way together and sewn to each other. Now we just have one more section to go. Before we get started on that, let's see where everybody is in the process. Following along with us in this process, you will notice that each section had its own special challenges. Section 1 was really focused on getting used to the process of the Bargello and how the pieces start to fit together. Section 2 was a challenge because it started with 1-inch strips, several of them in a row, and so having to deal with that curve was a challenge before you added the wider pieces. Section 3 is a challenge actually because it is all 1-inch pieces. So if you've done sections 1 and 2, this section, even though it does provide a different set of challenges, you should be able to get through it fairly simply. The first time I made this quilt, the green one for my son, I actually did section 3 first because I was really worried about these 1-inch strip units, but I think doing it this way, it also helped to have everything done at once instead of doing one of each section or whatever. So I started with this one, but I like this time doing the third section last. Before I debated with doing this one first for the quilt along, but since there were several people who were making the crib size or the twin size, or the lap size, then I didn't want to start with this one because some people would have to wait to get started. So just like for all the other sections, what you're going to need is your strip units. By now, the only ones that you'll have left are the 1-inch units. And then you do need your fabric guide, which is here, and then you need your cutting guide, which is here. Remember that after you do each section to mark it so that you know when you're almost done. I have, since I've already gone through the process on the other videos, I won't take the time to do that now, but I will. I'm going to take a few minutes and just lay out the quilt. Then I'll come back and show you. I've laid out all of the strip units that are in this section. As a reminder, the pattern will say which seams to cut between, and then you check your fabric guide to know exactly where to take the seams apart. And then I put whatever number was on the right, I put that fabric piece up at the top of the strip of the section. I have 3 pins here, one in the first unit, third, and fifth. And so to start, I'm going to fold the second unit right sides together with the first and sew it, and then I'll do the fourth over the third and the sixth over the fifth, and then we'll see how we can start putting this together. I have the first 4 units. They are stitched in pairs right here. And the third set is still on the machine as a leader ender. Now what I'm going to do is remove my pin that shows the left side of the second set. I'm going to move that to the first open set to show that it'll be the left side when it's time to stitch these two together. Now I'm going to flip the second unit right sides together with the first unit, and then and stitch it. And so I'm going to continue this probably about maybe halfway through, and then I'll show you what it looks like. It's about halfway done this section, and you can see on the ends of this, because of these small strips, you might get a little bit of curling, but once you finger press it and add more pieces, it should start to lay a little flatter like this. I finger pressed away from the pin, so this section I finger pressed to the right. The other two sections I alternated the direction so that when it's time to join them, they will nest, the seams will nest. So I'm going to finish this section and get it pressed and show you what it looks like. Section. This is again the third section of out of these three that I need to complete. The first two are already stitched together along this horizontal seam, so I'm just going to attach these two. They're not exactly the same size, but they each have a little bit of stretch, and the seams are opposing, so they should nest as I stitch them together. So I'll do that, and then we'll show you what the next step is. On my left, the entire third section is all put together, and then this is sections 1 and 2 that I've already stitched together. At this point, I'm going to sew this vertical seam. Just like everything else, the seams will nest because we've pressed the seams I think I pressed them to the even fabrics. So I'm going to sew this seam, and then I'll show the whole thing together. So I have all three sections stitched together, sewn together, and you can clearly see the heartbeat design. See that Bargello pattern? I really like the way it looks. If you are making the twin size at this point, you're already done, and you can go ahead and quilt and back it. Before you do that though, I would stitch along the outside edge about 1/8 of an inch before adding the backing and binding, because there's so many stitches there. But we will be adding a border. If you want, you can add your own border, but on the next assignment, I'll be showing you how I will add some borders. This is really nice. I like the colors. I like the way it's turned out. If you have any questions about it, please leave them in the comments below. Thanks so much for following us on this journey. Stay tuned to see who won our prize for the month. Thumbs up this video, share it with your friends, and I'll see you next time. Bye!